What's going on, folks? It's Tuesday. Time to talk some football while Brian tries to figure out his technical issues over there. Guy, maybe you should
Hey,
call
guy.
maybe you should call the original Geek Squad from Best Buy because they certainly don't work on computers anymore now. So, I think I'm going to come from the original Best Buy Geek Squad studios when they actually used to help you instead of just look at you judgingly because you don't understand their computer lingo.
Well, what's up, everybody? I'm BD. Little computer issue, so I'm coming from my phone today, but also I'm gonna be coming from the Rustic Studios today. I don't know if you ever went over there, Jason. It was a nice little hangout place over in the Rim. Closed recently, but it wasn't
No,
bad.
that I didn't do, but um, there's another place that I'm come from, even though it is still technically open, and I'll come from there next week. I'll save it for then.
Yeah, save it for
Just
next week, man.
shout out to a friend of mine, right? A little homage to him because he doesn't watch the Facebook. He doesn't even get on the Facebook. But anyways, yeah. So lots to talk about today. We're going to be spending a little bit more time rather than jumping around from subject to subject. We're going to be talking a little bit more kind of in depth, uh, NFL coverage, some obviously college stuff, some crazy things happening up in Austin with the Texas Longhorns. I'm sure you probably saw some of that. But lots of stuff to go over today. So, first things first, I think we probably should start out with the preseason game one reviews. Or, you know what? Before we do that, I want to touch on a little bit of a hot topic because you seem to have a pretty animated take on this.
Me?
Uh,
No,
no,
of course
but
not. I would
and
never. I would.
guests, yeah, guests, you are welcome to chime in because I would love to know your take on this also. But I've got to talk about the protective caps that some of the NFL players are wearing and some others are not. And the NFL's decision to put like weatherproof bags over the top of them with the logos so they look more like helmets. Brian, let's start with you. What are your thoughts on the protective caps, just in general?
In general, I I understand that they help protect against concussions. I would like to start there. They do. That's their job. But from there, they look absolutely ridiculous. Every time I see the pictures of them and stuff, I post the picture of Dark Helmet from Spaceballs. 'Cause that's what they look like. It looks absolutely ridiculous. But hey, you know what? If a player feels safe, wanting to wear the Guardian cap, then hey, by all means, that is up to him. It's his safety is more important than what I think is ridiculous or not. Um, Now, as far as the covers over them, I think you kind of have to do that in a real game because just the way those other helmets are, like trying to put a team logo on them, is really, really ridiculous. And yeah,
Censored.
I do it.
Censored. Absolutely censored. This is the kind of nonsense you get from our fan base. Anyways, yes, logos over the helmets, and yes, you'll notice I am wearing my team colors, right? Loud and proud. This shirt is about as old as Charles Woodson is. So if any of our fans feel, gracious enough to bless me with the new one this year, the China jerseys, obviously they hold up pretty well. Like I got no beef with that. So send your boy SAJ some love. Send him a new jersey. So don't listen to Mike G. He's crazy,
He crazy.
but he's actually right. Let me see.
So what do you think about the caps, man?
Hang on, I'm doing searches.
Oh my gosh. It's all right. It's all right. We don't need prep time or anything like that. We're just going.
No, no, we don't.
So
We don't need any of this.
you know
Protective
what?
helmets, right? Hang on, hang on.
Yeah, the Guardian caps, protective covers. or whatever.
This is what we're talking about, right? Okay, this is that protective cap. Now, this is a little bit different. This is from Academy, blah, 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 whatever. But you get the gist of it, right? Let me see if I can share this other. Here's the Great Gazoo, for anybody who didn't know who it was from the Flintstones. Okay?
Yep, definitely.
And I would say that's a pretty accurate description. So, first and foremost, what's up, Brahma Babe? Normally we would, but this topic just came up, so we wing things on the fly. You know how we do it here in Texas.
No, we would not. We don't prepare for our show. All right, we just go and research on the fly. Research on the fly. Let's go.
Everything's on the fly. We just make it up as we go along, man. We're not trained professionals, and that's why we love you guys so much for watching us.
Preparation be damned.
Yes, preparation H feels good on the whole. Oh, that's a whole different thing. Never mind. Anyways, here's my take on the protective caps. I think that they are a great idea. I love the fact that the NFL is taking player safety very seriously, especially with the devastating effects we've seen that happen from repeated trauma to the brain, concussions. We've seen so many, right? And it's just bad. But couldn't there maybe be something else developed a little bit better that doesn't make him look like the Great Gazoo, or a giant Q-tip or something, right? Like putting a plastic bag over it with your team's logo is probably not the answer to make it look less conspicuous. It just doesn't work, right? So I give them credit for trying, and definitely, right? They're thinking about player safety. I mean, if you look at even just the neck collars that the offensive and defensive linemen wear, they have advanced so much in the last 10, 20 years. Hell, I mean, we had literally foam pad rolls when we were playing football at our age, right?
Yeah.
And you didn't have actual plastic curved pieces that protect your neck and your spine. So player safety has come a long, long way. But this is I don't know, man. I don't know. I feel like they kind of phoned it in.
Yeah, and, I mean, they've been improving the helmets for years. I mean, from where the helmets were 5 years ago, as far as avoiding concussions and all that stuff. The helmet improved, like they're going down. So do they? I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, if a player feels comfortable, more power to them. Hey, they've got that option. They still look ridiculous.
Yeah.
I am curious. I know we're talking about this on our side chat where this came up. We've only seen these helmets in NFL preseason or NFL training camps, and now in some preseason games. I'm curious how they're going to hold up to the hitting of a regular season game. Especially when we get into the playoffs, when we've got the frozen tundras, and you get those games that are freezing temperatures. We saw last year in the KC Dolphins playoff game. It was negative degrees. So I want to see how these hold up. I'm really curious because they haven't been tested on an NFL level. Yeah, different, stuff like that for different things. But NFL is the best of the best, the hardest hitters there are. So they've never been tested like this.
Yeah, you mean that Kansas City game that wasn't 0 degrees because it was -1.
It was -4 plus the wind chill.
Yes. Now, real quick,
it would turn it into negative hell no.
Yeah. Brahma Babe, you were asking, look, from Mike G, who guest hosted last week. I didn't even let him know that BD wasn't going to be here, right? That's how much winging it that we do. And that's what works for us, right?
Yeah. I saw you ask him if he wanted to be on, And nowhere in there was like because I was not, and I'm like,
Yep.
well, maybe he told him on the side or something. Maybe
Nah.
whatever. Nah.
No, because as much as Mike G likes to prepare, if he would have known that he was going to be flying, basically solo with me, he would have over prepared. And I want a lot of that raw commentary.
We can't have over preparation here.
No,
that's just not our
no,
thing.
no. We are not a prepped, proper, taking time to do everything. I mean, we do our research. Don't get me wrong. A lot of times we don't do our research until the day of the show, until we figure out what we're actually going to talk about, because we only have an hour. But we don't try and script this or anything, because we're not trying to be professionals. We're trying to be two fans talking about football, right? Right here, a little bit of backing for you. Go ahead and show it. Right here, right here. Football's back, baby. Go Cowboys. You notice
That's right.
Brian is wearing
Bobby.
his
Let's
colors,
go.
though. Okay, I'm just saying, right? The only one who's actually wearing his colors is the true blue Green Bay fan here. So there you go. Anyways, protective caps. I do think we need a little bit of work on those, and I think it'll get there. I think right now, we're still in the process rather of product testing. That's one of the reasons why it's definitely not mandatory. And I think once they start streamlining, remember, we just recently had a helmet change in the last couple of years to the new Revolution helmet, which should be kind of like this guy right here, right? You've got a little bit more, surface area to kind of protect in some of the crucial, critical parts. They also have that one that you'll notice your boy Prescott doesn't wear. He wears one a little bit more like this, but Love and some of the newer players have that one with the like octagonal piece right here to protect the brain, right?
Yeah.
Right. So our helmet technology has come a long way in the last couple of years. I have to believe this will catch up really, really quickly. So, oh wow, Dak needs a full body helmet, huh? Yes. And what is up, El Jefe?
What's up, Jesse? And you see Mike G, his first transaction on Madden.
Fired McCarthy.
Yep, I support that.
Did you at least give him a cheeseburger on the way out? That's what I want to know, right? Because then he wouldn't cry so much. But anyways, gotta love McCarthy. Yeah, he probably would. Who knows? We'll get into that in a little bit. Okay, now that we have completely gone off the rails, Brian, you got to have watched some of the preseason, right?
I watched very little. I saw a lot of highlights. I had a lot of stuff going on this weekend. Just spending time with family. The reason I wasn't here last week is because I was in a work training class up in Oklahoma for the entire week, and so I came back, had to spend some time with the family. So
work training class, aka binge-a-thon of alcohol.
A little bit, but no. I definitely would not go to Oklahoma for personal reasons. It's got to be work to get me up there.
Yes,
and, I mean it's like they say. You know why Texas doesn't go fall into the Gulf of Mexico? It's because Oklahoma sucks.
There you go. Brahma Babe, we will definitely get to that, but that's later on in the show. That's our third segment. We'll get there.
You said segment like we have them planned out.
Maybe I meant segue. I don't know. But so it looks like the Cowboys actually had a pretty decent showing, right? I'm looking at ESPN's review of the game, and real quick though, we're not going to wind up talking about it because there really isn't anything going on in arena football, but we definitely want to give a shout out to our Pro Arena Talk friends. We haven't heard anything from them in a while, probably because, again, the season's over now. Things are pretty much done.
Well, not quite. The IFL Championship is this weekend.
Oh, that's right. I forgot all about that.
Yeah, it's on Saturday. So
okay, so maybe we'll get some updates from them right before that we can talk about next week, and then we'll definitely talk about that game. But we also do have a San Antonio gunslinger who is potentially making a run back up to the NFL. So that's something to keep our eyes on also. We'll get to that. And I was trying to find that story on Facebook earlier. I have not been able to locate it yet, but I do want to talk about it. In the meantime, looks like the ESPN writers were saying that the Cowboys didn't get much production from their draft or the 23 draft class, but this preseason game they definitely got a lot more out of them. So there's the key people, the defensive tackle Mazzie Smith, tight end Luke Schoonmaker, and linebacker DeMarvion Overshone. They're expecting them to make big jumps this year. Overshone and Smith had first quarter tackles for losses, and Smith appeared to hold up pretty decently in the middle of the line before coming out in the second quarter. They did have a target by Trey Lance to Schoonmaker, but the pass was kind of overthrown. And overall, Lance did okay, right? Kind of like what he's been showing in training camp. Some ups, some downs, and some indecision.
He was 60% passing, 190 yards almost. He had like 60 something yards rushing. It's the first preseason game. Nobody's going to expect anything. None of the starters played. I was looking at the kind of the receiving stats and stuff. I'm like, man, they better work out this deal with CD because I got no idea who the hell any of these fools are, lined up as receiver for the Cowboys. So, but it's it's the first preseason game. It's just everyone's knocking the rust off. You want to see some good things. You want to see no turnovers from Lance, which is great. Like you didn't really see the stupid plays, so that's what you want to avoid. So,
yeah. So, Brahma Babe, your question. To my knowledge, Vasher did not play. I don't think that really any of the 2023 XFL class or UFL class, I should say, is going to get or would have gotten any playing time this week. I think that's being reserved more for this next week to kind of try and figure out who the second and third string guys are going to be, who's, really kind of leading those, the backup positions. This is more for the people that are kind of fighting for the starting positions. If they haven't already kind of been, kind of set, right? We know your boy is definitely going to be a quarterback. We know my guy Love is going to be a quarterback, right? They got some playing time, but like Love had one drive, turn it into a touchdown, and then he was done for the day. And then they put in a couple of the different backups to kind of see where they were at. Same thing in Houston with Stroud. I think he had one, maybe two drives, and then he was done for the day also. I will say I was really kind of surprised at how well Chicago looked with Caleb Williams. I was kind of expecting Caleb to be a little bit more hyped than what he turned out to be. Granted, it's a preseason game, and they're also playing at Buffalo. But Caleb brought the heat, man. I was really surprised by that. And so eyes are going to be on the North again. I really kind of think. And then poor Minnesota, right? J.J. McCarthy came out and did wonderfully and then tore his ACL.
Yeah. Oh, God.
So that's rough,
so,
right? So
remember that, people, anyone who's looking to draft Jefferson as, one of the top 3 picks or whatever, he's projected to go real high. Who's going to be throwing to him? So
yeah.
I think right now, who's their backup? Oh, damn it. My mind just went blank.
I don't even know. The beer vendor guy? I have no idea.
Oh, man. It'll come to me in just a second.
Yeah. We'll think of it in a bit. One thing I definitely wanted to bring up, though, because I actually messaged Brian about this over the weekend while we were, just kind of flipping through and updating each other on stuff for the show and just life in general, right? Here's a name from the past that some of you may remember. Logan Woodside. Logan Woodside got playing time this weekend. Logan Woodside was our starting quarterback for the San Antonio Commanders. And he actually did fairly decently. There were times where he didn't do so good, and we called him Woodchuck and some other choice words. But it's nice to see that even some of those you know, God, I can't remember the AAF players. There you go. It's nice to see that some of the AAF players are still kind of floating around and still grinding and trying to get, an actual opportunity. And who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe he doesn't make the cut. Maybe he makes it back to the UFL and gets, another opportunity, right, to be king of spring football. Because we know Luis Perez is gone, right? He's been moved up to where the heck did
He
Perez
signed with the
go?
Chargers.
Yeah,
So
and
and
he's not going to.
the Vikings backup is Sam Darnold. That's who I was thinking of. And
That's it.
For you, Jesse, go Cowboys.
Yes, just for Jesse though. Maybe Jackie too. Um, but yeah, so
Hey, it's
there
our
were.
year, all right. You'll be hearing me say it all.
I'll hear you say that until maybe week 2 or 3, and then I have a feeling that you're going to back off on that a little bit because
No,
you're a
it's no,
realistic
it'll
fan.
it'll be our year to the playoffs. I told you we got a bad schedule. We'll win 11 and 12 games pretty easily, and then suck in the playoffs because that's just what we do.
The one where it matters.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and that's fine. Again, there's just a lot of opportunities for folks out here to kind of show what they got. I do feel I feel so bad for McCarthy uh, getting that opportunity to get out there, start getting some professional snaps, and then he made the one snap he didn't need to, and who knows what's
Yeah.
going to happen to him now? Does he come back from this? When does he come back? Is he going to get some of that Aaron Rodgers, ayahuasca, whatever treatment, dark cave stuff, and be back in like 3 weeks, or like what's going to happen? You know. So I also did not see Rodgers take the field this preseason game. I
I
don't
wouldn't
know if he
expect him
did or
to.
not.
I wouldn't have expected him to.
Yeah. So Mike G right
I mean,
here says,
I would expect the only like starters that would be rookies. Any established starter, I don't think there'd be no way that any of them would play.
well, and I think the only reason why Love even took any snaps was because he'd missed time with his holdout and everything with the contract stuff. So they wanted to try and get him as much training opportunity as possible. But man, he threw a bomb, a 65-yarder, back foot in pressure like it was nothing. So I'm not saying he's the guy, not yet, right? But I'm a little bit more hopeful for our season. I'm figuring we're going to go 9-7, 9-8, maybe
Okay.
9-7-1, something like that. We'll see how that goes. Anyways, Mike, XFL Mike G's comment here. Perez dropped a pass to another former Renegade, Donald Parham. So that's good. Nice little connection there. Jesse right here wants to know what the status on CD Lamb is, and I think the status is that he's CD Lamb.
He's holding out till he wants a deal. I'm sure they're talking. Get something done probably. The last week of the preseason, and just kind of like what they normally do. And he'll come back first game of the regular season and do just fine. So
Yeah. At least till the playoffs when Dak throws it to everybody else but CD Lamb. So, and that happens. So Brahma Babe said here that Mahomes and Lawrence both took snaps. I don't know who this Lawrence lady is, but I'm sure she's a wonderful person. And then is Jerry the dad of what, the Cowboys?
I mean, if you don't behave, he's gonna turn that team around and go back home.
I mean, that's true. That's true. So, so yeah, again, some interesting developments from the preseason, opportunities for guys to shine, guys that should have shown maybe didn't kind of live up to some of the hype, and then just some really bad news from a couple of situations, right?
And I'm sure you're heartbroken over the Vikings news.
It's a bittersweet thing. I hate for any young, talented player to have their season or potentially their season ended in a preseason game, even if it is a division rival. I'd much rather just beat them during the season, right, and have the ownership like that. But I mean, you take what you get. It's unfortunate, you know.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm hopeful that they've got an answer for that situation. Uh, I mean, since they lost their love for Cousins, they've been struggling. They've had some issues. Um, wow, I'm not going to be able to share that private message at all. it was it was interesting. I'm just going to leave it that way. Anyways, moving on. Right. So next week we've got. Let's look at the schedule. That's preseason week 1. Week 2, preseason week 2. Got a bunch more Saturday games. Got a couple of Sunday games. In fact, Green Bay will be playing Denver on Sunday, 7 p.m. Same time as New Orleans plays Frisco. And that should be a pretty interesting Sunday night. I'll definitely be flipping back and forth to watch that. Dallas has Vegas Saturday night at
At
9
9.
p.m.
Oof.
9.
It's
Like,
dumb. I mean,
who's
it's
scheduling
preseason.
these games?
It's preseason, so who cares? But it's still dumb.
Who is scheduling these games, man?
Apparently, the same
Looks like
people that scheduled the freaking XFLs last, 2 years ago.
probably. Um, so it looks like Houston is actually going to have. Where did they go? They're going to be playing New York in Houston, and that should be a pretty interesting game. Obviously, we're going to be rooting. Well, I'm going to be pulling for Houston. Brian is going to be rooting against New York, and uh, it should be. You should see a little bit more of the start. You should see the starters in there for a little bit longer. They should get a couple more minutes of playing time. This may give you a little bit better look of what Houston is going to look like. But I really think that the way the numbers are stacking on paper, that Houston's going to be a potential contender. Right? We know they made it in the playoffs last year. I've got a feeling they're going to go a little bit deeper. Oh no! Oh no! It's Jackie. Nerd buckets.
What's up,
Okay.
Jackie?
Yeah. Yeah, horns forward, Jackie. There you go. But yeah, we're getting closer and closer and closer. Every week is one step closer to the NFL season, and opportunities for our teams to just cruelly dash our hopes by losing to like a 2-7 team, right? Because that
Yeah.
happens, and that sucks. I hate those days. Anyways, yeah, so just make sure you check out some of these games. You should be able to see them on the NFL app. They should all be shown. I'm not 100% sure if you have to have a subscription or not. I don't believe I do. I think I only have access because of the fantasy football stuff. But who knows, right? That's the joys of having a million different subscriptions. You never know what you're actually subscribed to. In the meantime, there's something about kitty cats or something. I don't understand what that is, you know. But let's switch over because Renee brought it up. The UFL to NFL tracker. Now I don't have any stats, but right now we're looking at. God, I didn't even have a chance to count it.
So what I just see. So as of 9 hours ago, there was currently 85 UFL players on NFL rosters. And then even after that post, that a few more have signed. Green Bay signed Nate McCrary, running back from the Panthers. Let me see. I saw a couple works out, and then I think the most interesting one I saw today was Martavis Bryant signed with the Commanders.
Interesting.
So
Interesting. I know, and we've had this, in our private conversations with the Horns Forward podcast people and everything. Our team is finally, I think, getting recognized for the talent that was there. We're getting picked apart. Most of our guys, most recently, Rex Sunahara has been picked up by where the heck did Rex go? I just saw him. He got picked up by the Browns, and so we wish him the absolute best. I know he's going to crush it over there, and plus it's the Browns, so at least they'll have one good player on the team.
Right.
We also know that Wyatt Ray was picked up by the Dolphins recently. Green Bay picked up Zach Morton, and Kirkland is now with the 49ers. And
any other team,
I'm sorry, did I?
No,
Yeah,
was the yeah, it
I
was
thought.
49ers,
No,
wasn't it?
I thought I said Wyatt Ray to the Dolphins, but maybe I said a different team, or maybe
Oh.
Brahma Babe was just throwing that in just because. But either way, you were saying.
Obviously, I want all of our San Antonio players to succeed, but the 49ers, really, I just, I hope
I
he's the only player that does well for him. So,
and most likely he will, because it is the 49ers, right? They're
yes.
always going to choke.
So, Jackie, to answer Jackie's question, yeah, this is a new angle of me today because I was having some computer issues, so I'm going from my phone, and yes, those are some mini helmets, newest addition to my little background. All the teams, and I'm gonna kind of reorganize them every week to see who's facing who. So,
Yep. And so I'm assuming the bottom rows will be the teams with the bye weeks.
yeah, exactly.
Nice. That's actually really smart. I like that. But yeah, there are at least 85 of the UFL players that are now in the NFL. That's not a guarantee that they're going to stay there, but I'm not much of a betting man, but I would be willing to bet you at least probably 50% should make the cut, because there's some really big names here, and we saw some really good talent on display last season during the UFL.
Man,
Right
I don't.
here.
Hey, all the time. All right.
However, let me retort with this.
Mm-hmm. I've still got it in my garage, Rankin. I'll just bring it to you one of these days.
It
Um,
it it screamed Motel 6 is what it screamed.
exactly. I don't know if 50% of the players are going to make it. I mean, we saw, kind of. I think Hakeem Butler only got a few snaps this week, and he was one of the top players in the UFL. I do think there's still a pretty big talent gap between the upper part of the UFL and the lower part of the NFL. And as the UFL goes on and just kind of grows and becomes more popular, that gap will shrink. But right now, I think it is pretty large. So I don't see 40 players making it to NFL rosters. I could see 10 to 15 players making it. But that's kind of where I'm thinking right now.
I don't know, man. Well, like for example, this list that I'm looking at has Gary and Conley still with the Cowboys, and we know he retired, right? So that's going to throw a little bit of a kink in the plans there. But I just think, I mean, a lot of
Retiring
these
always throws
players,
a kink into the plans of playing.
exactly, right? But there's just some really big names on here that, not Sal Canella, but there are some really big names on here that potentially, should make a roster, right? So we'll see what happens. Definitely, all of our folks should make a roster somewhere, because it's they're I don't care what anybody says, they're the best players in the UFL. We proved it, except for what's his name, Chase Garbage. I
Garbage.
mean
Yeah.
Garbage, yeah. But it's it's crazy
Oh,
stuff.
speaking of, did you see the news from Buffalo yesterday about their most recent quarterback signing?
No,
Oh, Gucci Danucci.
the Nooch.
Yeah,
Who did he
he
sign
signed.
with?
He signed with Buffalo yesterday.
Oh, Buffalo chips. The Nooch.
Yeah.
Uh,
So yeah, I saw that. I saw that yesterday. I thought that was pretty funny.
that is sorry. Uh, Messages going on. Apparently, one of my little soccer stars apparently hurt her ankle tonight, and so she's going to have to go. Not like bad or anything, but she's going to have to go to physical therapy and get some kinks worked out.
Oh,
So
that sucks, man.
it's
Well,
fine.
hopefully she gets better quick, man. That's a bummer.
Yeah, she'll be fine. She'll be fine. She's used to doing this. This is like
Yeah.
honestly part of her weekly routine now. It seems like, but that's okay. She's tough. She can handle it. Anyways, where are we at? The Nooch. Yeah,
Yeah, the
he's
Newt
amazing.
signed with Buffalo yesterday.
Yeah. Um, Now, I do think again, like we talked about, um, you're going to see potentially more of these UFL players getting some time this next week, and potentially, showing what they can do. I'm hopeful that we do see a little bit more action from them, at least in second halves and key situations, just to kind of see where these folks stack up. I know at least for Green Bay, we're having a little bit of the injury bug already, and a lot of teams are right. I don't want to try and make excuses or anything, but like we had a running back that we signed who basically blew out his his knee this week. They don't know how bad it is, but that was potentially our number 3 running back that we were counting on. So maybe a UFL guy steps up. You know what I mean? So we'll just have to see what happens. But you should see some more of your local favorites, uh, and just kind of see where people pop up. Now, Brahma Babe asked this question. What UFL players we're wanting to watch this weekend? Brian, you have a small
Well,
list.
I mean, obviously, I'm rooting for the Brahmas guys. I want them to do well. Every one of them that's on a roster, I want them to make the final cut. Even though it hurts our team here at home, but I mean, this it's what the guys want to do. That's what the reason for the UFL. So definitely rooting for those guys. I don't really have anyone else in particular. I'm just kind of I'm interested to see, like I said earlier, how the talent gap is between how these guys fare with the NFL players or guys vying for an NFL roster. So
Yeah. Um, Besides our guys, um, I'd like to see how well Hakeem does. I know he was one heck of a talented receiver. He was a humongous target for what's his name, AJ.
AJ McCarron.
Yeah. Um, but I'd like to see what he can actually do in an NFL caliber game. Right? We know AJ was a pretty seasoned, pretty talented quarterback. We're not sure what's happening with him, if he's going to come back, if he's going to retire. He's obviously, he had a chance to jump in and be on a practice squad in the NFL and turn that down just so his kids could see him play, which is cool in its own right. We'll let that one be what it is. But I really would like to see what Hakeem Butler can do, and some of the guys like that. Um, that Ricky Person Jr., the running back for the Stallions, I'd like to see what he's going to be able to do. I really Sailors was also pretty decent. Uh, um, Joshua Cephas was potentially doing okay with Jacksonville, but he's not with Jacksonville. He's with the SA Brahmas. So he should be. I'm sure he's going to wind up being here because I don't think. I mean, I watched the kid play at UTSA. I don't think he's ready for the big leagues. So Martinez, I don't want to talk about Martinez. I hate that guy. Uh, I hope he puts his shoes on the wrong feet and runs backwards the whole game, and gets athlete's foot, and you know maybe eat stale popcorn, right? Um, I can't wish enough inconvenient things on him. Not anything bad. I don't want anything bad to happen to any of these guys, but just inconvenient things, right? Like you
Hope he
know,
gets a pebble in his shoe that he can't get out.
yes. Um, I hope he gets. I hope he gets. Not turf toe, but like something like that. I hope somebody paints his toenails like an off color and makes him stumble. You know. And Mike, you're right. He does well. He doesn't come back, but still, I don't care. I've got nothing but mild venom to spit in his general direction. Um,
Oh, jeez.
the problem is he's a really good player, right? And he showed just how good he was all season long. We had him completely contained when we played him here in San Antonio. He did relatively nothing that whole entire game. And then we play him again in similar surroundings, albeit a lot more dust and chicken feathers and everything all over the place. And we do the exact opposite of
Well,
what we
we,
did.
we had him contained for half the game. It just, that third quarter was just absolute garbage. So
Right here, my guy Rig. What's up, baby? You see it over this shoulder right here. I got my flags, right? All my Houston flags. Um, and Mike, you're not necessarily wrong. Is there a way for both quarterbacks to lose? Because that would be okay. I'd be all right with that. But yeah, nah, hate that guy. And yes, 100% triggers. I hate those guys. Anyway, so yeah, that's kind of besides our local fan favorites who we're going for. Uh, we're hoping every one of our Brahmas guys makes a roster somewhere, uh, and we're pulling for them. Outside of them, maybe a couple of players, but not like there isn't anybody that we're nice right here. Yes, yes.
Yes.
Yes. And the other one he can't seem to keep tied, so it's always loose. So, 100%, right? Um, anybody outside of our guys, I mean, we wish them well. We really do. But we're not really, our eyes are not laser focused on them nearly as much as our hometown favorites, right? And that's again, that's part of us being hometown homers. I mean, let's not lie about it.
Yeah.
We built a relationship with these cats for 10 weeks. We followed them literally everywhere they went, and some of us got to hang out with them. I'm not posting that other one. We're gonna leave that one.
Just
Right?
keep them coming, Jackie. Just keep them coming.
Yep. I hope it runneth under. We'll put it that way. But yeah, I mean, I don't even know where we were going with all that now, which is fine.
UFL players we were going to be watching.
Yeah.
But,
so yeah, we're gonna definitely track our hometown guys. But outside of that, we wish them the best of luck. Anthony Hines looks like it was a defender who is now with the New York Jets. Good luck with Aaron Rodgers, right? That's going to be a whole situation in and of itself. Anybody that goes to the Jets, good luck to them. Just because, yes, I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted by Jackie's comments now. They're awesome.
Yes.
So Jesse swinging for the fences.
Ooh, that's just painful. I mean, yes. I've accidentally gotten some up there. Oh, no.
Not bueno.
What? So, I mean, this first preseason game week, we saw the first implementation of the former XFL kickoff. How do you think it looked on the NFL field, and how do you think it was received?
So I'm glad you asked that, and especially as a two-part question. As far as how it looked on the NFL field, I think it looked okay. It looked close to what we were used to. Obviously, the folks who had more experience with it took to it much better because they're actually used to it. The folks from like 2 years ago, the folks from last year, Not so much because, again, the UFL was forced to do the NFL style kickoff because they thought that that's what was going to be happening. And somebody didn't tell Moose Johnson that, hey, we're going to change plans on you. So there was a little bit of a learning curve there. How it was received, I think, is a whole different story. I think it was actually poorly received by the NFL and the NFL fans. I heard a lot of people complaining about it, basically saying that with this new kickoff style, you're essentially taking the kicker out of the game, and you're hindering teams and blah blah blah, whatever. And it's like, first of all, it's focused on player safety, right? So you have a better opportunity of less injuries happening to your kickoff returner because they have better opportunities to actually return the ball. Secondly, kind of ties into that, you have more opportunities for people to actually return the ball down, right?
Yeah.
You're not going to have a cat going 5-10 yards and just done, right? So I think it wasn't received as well as it should have been, because this is going to bring back some of those exciting kickoff returns that we haven't seen in such a long time. Let me ask
And
you.
I agree with you 100%. The kickoff went from one of the most exciting plays in the game to one of the most boring because 95% of them were touchbacks. Now it's now almost all of them are going to get returned now. So it brings back the most exciting play in the game in a safe way. And I think once fans get used to seeing it, just like we talked about it, when we first saw it with the XFL, it was weird when we first saw it. The first couple of weeks it was like, I don't know about this, but it grew on us. And I think the same thing is going to happen for NFL fans, because it takes a play that the last several years has been really boring and makes it exciting. The only thing that you lose from it is the unexpected uh onside kick, which is always fun to see when they're thrown out there.
Mhm.
And Jackie, honestly, I have been a proponent of that for 15 years. I think the NFL should implement something along those lines. You know what? 1 point, 2 point, whatever. If you kick it from, I think back then when I was thinking about it was like the 25-yard line and make it in the goalpost, you should get a point or two for it. So
You
I
should.
definitely think that's something that would be a cool kind of you know uh addition to the game. But like back to the kickoff though. I obviously, like I said, it was not well received. People who are been watching the NFL for years, not happy with it. But I think it'll end up growing on people. So
Yeah. What's up, Marco? Good to see you, man. Your flag is over there somewhere. I don't. It's there. Um. And 100%.
Mike, I'm going to disagree with that. I think they should still kick the point after. I don't. I think it's a good kind of separation between NFL, UFL stuff. I like the UFL, their rules, but I do think there's a place in the NFL for a point after kick.
I think it should incorporate both. Honestly, right? You should have the point after. If you're trailing, you should have the option for the 2, 3, or 4 point conversion, right? Set them a little bit farther back, but
I don't know
give
about
those
four.
options.
Maybe give them a 3 point conversion from the 15-yard line. You know,
Why not give them a 4 point conversion from the 20 or the 25? You know, I think it
why not?
brings more
Why not a
excitement to the
five?
game.
Why not a 5 point conversion from the 35? We'll just back up all the way and go for that.
Well, this isn't like 4th and 12
They
or fourth and
score
15, guy.
19. They can score 19 points in one possession.
It happened to us in the UF or the XFL. You
Score a
know,
touchdown. They can score. They'll score a 10 point conversion from the 10-yard line on your own 10-yard line
from the
and
parking
score a
lot.
deuce on the kickoff.
You're just mad because they're good ideas. That's all. Uh, there you go. Instant win from your 1 yard line.
There you go.
I mean, if you can throw a 99 yarder, I mean, it should get something. But, and did you see this from Mike? Right? colleges are painting their helmets to look like old leather helmets.
No, I haven't noticed that.
I have not heard that
I'm gonna
anywhere.
have to look that up though.
Yeah, that would be interesting. However, being that we have now kind of switched over to college, that's kind of why I segued like that. Let's talk about those wonderful Longhorns from Austin. We mentioned it at the top of the show. Man, what is going on in Austin, Brian?
You're gonna have to tell me because I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Uh,
I mean, I know they one of their Christian Clark, he's out for the season with an injury. I just saw that.
their newest running back, who they had a lot of hopes for. I mean, this was a freshman running back who was essentially going to be the starter, and who they were going to kind of be leaning on to carry the team in light of their star who got injured. Um, he tore his Achilles tendon this week. Okay, so yesterday, this happened. Today, school officials said he was going to undergo surgery and miss the 2024 season. Prior to that, last week, their starter, CJ Baxter, tore his
Okay.
LCL and PCL. So that's two running backs in 2 weeks that have destroyed their Achilles and are out for the season.
That's brutal.
Yes. It's almost like somebody doesn't want the Longhorns to have any kind of running game this season at all, right? And especially
That's me. I don't want the running backs to have any kind I don't want the Longhorns to have any kind of running game this season.
You don't want the Longhorns to have any kind of game this season.
Nope.
And this is huge because we're getting ready to launch into, A&M has been in the SEC for a little while. Oklahoma and Texas are going to be joining them for the first time in quite some time. And the Longhorns are already backs up against the wall, man. It is going to be insane to see how the Longhorns handle that situation.
Oh well, sucks for them.
Yes. You're so mean. You're so mean, dude.
Play my violin for them.
Yes. Meanwhile, XFL Mike G and I talked about it last week. UTSA is gearing up for another run, and it looks like Texas State is really kind of geared up to make a run at that Sun Belt championship and build upon last year's success. Right? They had a really good team. They went pretty deep into their conference. But I believe they came up short in one of the playoff games. Well, this year they're looking to learn from the past and really try and take it all the way to the house there. Meanwhile, UTSA, with a lot of their seniors and Agent Zero, Frank Harris, 7-year quarterback for the UTSA Roadrunners, he's not allowed to be on the football field anymore in that capacity. And don't be surprised if you see him on the sidelines, if you see him up in the booths with the coaches and stuff like that. I know he walked away from the game. And I get it, a lot of injuries. I think he this offseason was going to have his 13th surgery to repair a football injury. That's a lot for a young man like that.
And that's brutal on your body. And I mean, I don't blame the guy for kind of stepping away from playing the game. But like you said, I mean, someone like that, someone quarterback leaves the game early for that, you're almost guaranteed to see them, in some coaching role, especially somebody as talented as he is, who knows the game as well as he does, has been around it and stuff. His knowledge of the game will be invaluable to somebody. So.
Exactly. And I wouldn't be surprised if you didn't see some, potential, guest appearances at maybe some of the Brahmas games, right? Maybe he's helping, some of the quarterbacks, take some snaps, maybe look at things a little bit differently, things like that. So you definitely, he's going to be out there. He's going to be out and about. Um, I'm looking at the news updates from UTSA. So far, it looks like things are pretty decent on the injury list. I'm not seeing any super big names of anybody that is of any concern or anything like that per se. I do like the fact that we've got a couple of local kids that are going to be on the roster there. We've got Oscar Cardenas, tight end from Brandeis, right? Local name here. People know him. It's nice to see that he stayed here in San Antonio and he's on the squad. He's been there for a little while, but it's good to see him there. Trying to see if there's some other local kids. You've got Jaron Randall from Johnson High School. He's a redshirt junior. See if we can find some other ones here. Chris Bryson from Brandeis. He's a redshirt freshman. And one of these days I'm going to understand what that whole redshirt thing is. I know it's an extra year of eligibility, but
basically it's their freshman year they're on the team but they don't play. So if they play at any point in that freshman year, then they lose their redshirt ability. So
there's a kid here. Let's see if I can find him again. There's a kid from Judson High School that's actually on the squad also, who came to us from Oregon. So chances are he probably wasn't getting a whole lot of playing time there. And so he came back here where he could get a little bit more playing time. You've got Justice Hurt, who it's a name that I remember from probably like 2 seasons ago. He's a kid out of Taft High School, and he's a redshirt freshman, 6 foot, 195. He was a pretty good receiver. So that's going to be good to see him there on that squad. Couple other names, right? But it's nice seeing that local kids are kind of staying local and having an opportunity to be part of a program that is growing and flourishing and will be something big within the next couple of years. Now, they're not going to be necessarily like an A&M or like a Texas or anything like that. But they're going to be a pretty decent program, right? I know there's a lot of questions about their new quarterback, but I think they're going to be okay.
Yeah.
I trust in Trailer, so it should be pretty awesome. So you got any updates out of College Station or anything like that?
Not really. I'm just kind of waiting for the season to start. We kick off in 2 weeks. A&M kicks off against Notre Dame, so we're ranked number 20th. Notre Dame's ranked number 7th, so it'd be a nice, tough game to start the season off with. So hey, if A&M wants to do anything, this is how it works. So I'm interested to see, kind of going into the SEC how Alabama does. First year with no Saban, so kind of what what are they going to do? They're ranked number 5 right now, but are they going to stay that way? Are they, was it the players or was it the coach? I think we're going to find that out here pretty quick.
I'm going to say it's probably more the coach than, well, that's hard to say because you can't take away talent from the kids that are there. But I think it's the coach harnessing talent.
You can't, but yeah, the right coaches get the most out of that talent.
That's true.
We see it all the time. Like this is, colleges that lose their number 1 coaches, they struggle after that. So we'll see how Alabama does. I wouldn't mind a few down years for them.
Of course you wouldn't. But in the meantime, college football does kick off in 2 weeks. We still have 2 more weeks of preseason.
Yeah.
2 more weeks of preseason.
2 more weeks.
And week 1 starts the weekend of September 4th.
I don't know why my phone just did that. Hold on.
Yeah, gravity's fighting you here.
Apparently.
You're making me seasick, bro. Anyways, Mike G wants to invite us and all of our fans here to the tailgate and September 7th when UTSA beats Texas State. I think that would be a nice opportunity. He something about Irish coffee or something like that. I'm going to block that comment.
Already did.
Oh, you're the man. I'm going to hide that comment. But in the meantime, yeah, lots of football. And don't forget, we've got the IFL championship game coming up this weekend.
That's right. The Pirates against the Rattlers. So, Saturday.
So, I'm going to have to say go Arizona, man. Go with the tried and true. Although Pirates have been, pretty much an upstart, and they've kind of defied all the odds this season. We'll have to see what happens. But in the meantime, plenty of stuff coming up. One thing we forgot to talk about. Let me see if I can find that message. You know what? I can't. But there's an event going on this weekend. It's a wrestling event. Where the heck's my phone?
It's the event that Thunder Rosa, her group is putting on. It was in a text message group that we're in, Jay. But you know what?
Here we go.
You got it. Well, I've got it on my phone, but obviously I'm using my phone. So we'll post the flyer to our page, but definitely go check it out. On I believe it's Saturday is when this event is.
Saturday, August 17th, 2024, 5 p.m. for VIP entrance, 6 p.m. bell time. And this is Mission Pro Wrestling. This is going to be at the Salvation Army Mission Corps, 3802 Southwest Military Drive. I have to pull it back so my old eyes can actually see this. But again, this is for Thunder Rosa and her organization that's putting on this wrestling show. If you guys are fans of wrestling, this is the one that you're going to want to go to. I believe there are going to be a title defense there or something like that. I'm not 100% sure everything that they're doing, but I know that there are going to be some big name people from that Mission Pro Wrestling group that are going to be there. And you're going to want to make sure that if you're a fan that you're there also. But like BD said, check our page. We'll have it posted up there. All the links, all the information, all that good stuff.
Absolutely.
So, just want to make sure that we got that shout out to our friend Thunder Rosa. She's doing some great things with that whole wrestling organization, and we're here to support her. So, other than that, I think we just want to give a shout out to our sponsor, W Energy Drink. Again, I keep pushing it every week, and it really is pretty good stuff, right? I kind of notorious for being addicted to energy drinks right now. The one thing I like the most about the W Energy Drink is it doesn't give you the shakes and jitters, and it doesn't give you that notorious energy drink crash at the end, right? It's just kind of a nice level boost of energy. Everything's smooth, and then you just kind of come down naturally. So if you guys are looking for energy drinks, to replace some of your coffee, with it being like 8 million degrees outside, nobody can drink coffee at this time of year, try some W Energy Drink, right? You can go to our page, get a link right there. It'll take you to their page. I believe you get a little bit of a discount if you use our link, but just try it out. Give it a try. Let me know what you think.
Yeah, definitely.
In the meantime, of course, shout out to XFL Mike G and our friends, Pro Arena Talk, and all you fans. Thank you guys for tuning in every week and suffering through us. We love you all. Okay? So keep your eyes peeled. There's going to be lots of football, lots of stuff going on, lots to talk about. Brahma season tickets renewals should start coming out in the next couple of weeks here soon.
Yep.
We've got the UFL draft that's going to be happening in probably the next couple of months. And before you know it, when it actually gets, our 3 days of winter here in San Antonio, it's going to be time for UFL football. So in the meantime, guys, we'll catch you. All right.
Later, guys.
Later.